Welcome back to the channel. One of the biggest questions that first-time buyers and new property investors face is whether they should buy their own home first or dive straight into purchasing a buy-to-let investment property. Both options come with their own set of pros and cons, and the right choices depend largely on your personal financial situation, your goals and long-term plans. In this video, we'll break down some key advantages and disadvantages of each option, and I'll share some insights that might make you rethink your approach so you can make more of an informed decision on which path is best for you. Let's dive in. For many of us, the idea of getting onto the property ladder means buying your own home, but is that the right choice? We're often taught that owning a home is a great investment, but here's the thing. Owning your own home may not actually generate income for you. While it may appreciate in value over time, it doesn't generate cash flow on a monthly basis. Instead, it's an ongoing expense. You'll have a mortgage to pay every month, and don't forget about the maintenance costs. So while it may be seen as an asset to some, it's not an investment in the sense of generating regular income. Of course, many property experts suggest buying an investment property first, as it could offer cash flow and equity building opportunities. However, that's not always as simple as it sounds. It's a significant step, and you should approach it carefully and with enough knowledge. On the other hand, you might have friends or family advising you to buy your own home first, but let's be honest, those giving that advice may not be investors themselves, and their financial situation may not be where you want to be. So it's worth considering their advice with a critical eye and thinking about whether there's a way to do both. I also assume you're thinking about this decision based on your current financial situation. You might have a small deposit saved up and are worried that once you buy a property, whether it's a home or an investment, your savings will be depleted, leaving you unable to purchase anything else. If you're thinking like this, I encourage you to shift your mindset. There are ways to manage both goals and build a strategy that allows you to do more than just buy one property. Let me show you how. Let's start with the pros of buying your own home. First, of course, you'll own a piece of land and you no longer have to pay rent to someone else. You can personalize your space and call it your own. Over time, your home may increase in value, which can give you the opportunity to refinance and release equity that you can then use to buy an investment property. However, there are some drawbacks to consider as well. Owning a home means having a mortgage payment each month, and this can feel like you're stuck in a cycle where you're working just to pay off your mortgage. You'll also be responsible for all maintenance and utility costs. Furthermore, owning a home ties you down to one location. It's harder to move, and it's not a simple process to sell and relocate. If you live in an expensive area, you might also find it difficult to afford a property that you truly want to live in. Now, let's take a look at the pros of investing in property. With a buy-to-let property, you have the potential to generate positive cash flow each month. You can also invest in areas that are more affordable, giving you more options for purchasing property. Additionally, when you invest in property, the equity that you build up by refinancing or selling doesn't affect your primary living situation. However, there are some cons as well. If your investment property is vacant, you'll still be responsible for the mortgage payment. You'll also need to keep the property in good condition, and that means covering any maintenance costs. Buying a home and investing in property now, here's an idea that could work for you. What if you could buy your own home and start investing in property? Here's how that could work. You could take your deposit and buy a property that needs some work. Properties that require refurbishment tend to sell for less, so you might be able to buy more property for your money. You can set aside some extra cash for the renovations and get the work done quickly. Once the property is refurbished, you'll have added value to it, what we call equity, and you can then refinance your home to release some of that equity. By doing this, you can essentially recycle your money to invest in a buy-to-let property. The process can be repeated, and with each property you buy, refurbish and refinance, you're building your wealth over time. Not only that, but the properties you own will likely continue to appreciate in value, which will further compound your wealth. There are additional advantages of owning your own home before venturing into the buy-to-let market. For one, buy-to-let mortgage lenders often prefer applicants who have experience as homeowners. They view this as an indication that you can manage a mortgage and are financially responsible. Lenders also like it when you've done refurbishments, as it demonstrates your ability to manage the process and add value to a property. Another pro is that when you're buying your own home, you typically need a smaller deposit, often as little as 10% compared to the 25% deposit usually required for a buy-to-let property. This can make home ownership more accessible in the short term. Here's another point to consider. If you decide to buy an investment property first, you'll still need somewhere to live. That means you'll likely have to rent until your investment property increases in value and you can refinance to purchase your own home. Rent tends to be more expensive than a mortgage, so you'll want to carefully compare the numbers to see which option makes more financial sense for you. If you buy a buy-to-let property first, you could receive rental income, which might help offset your living expenses. So which option is best for you? Should you pay a mortgage on your own home, or should you rent and receive rent from an investment property? Keep in mind that both your home and investment property will appreciate in value over time. However, unless you choose to refinance, your home won't generate cash flow for you unless you sell it. On the other hand, refinancing a buy-to-let property will increase your mortgage payments, so you'll need to adjust the rent you're charging accordingly to cover those costs. Ultimately, the choice comes down to your goals, your financial situation, and your willingness to take on the responsibilities of property ownership. If you can find a way to do both, buy your own home and invest in property, you could be setting yourself up for long-term financial success. I hope this video has given you some clarity on whether you should buy your own home first or dive into the buy-to-let market. Be sure to take some time to think about your options, run the numbers, and make the decision that's best for you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts or questions in the comments below. I'll see you on the next video.